Hey YouTube, it's your boy TriniFX here, back with another daily trading recap. Today was a bit of a tricky day for me, and I'll tell you why. A couple of things. When I got to the chart, we could see this is yesterday's price action. Remember, we were bullish, and then price just traded lower from Asia. This is midnight open. Price just was going lower. So for me, I was looking for lower prices. So one of my levels, this is a 4-hour bearish fair value gap as well as an hour. This candle was not here, and this was a 4-hour bullish fair value gap. So when we are layered in between two higher time frame PD arrays, we really need to pick a bias and stick to it. It's either we're right or we're going to be wrong. So if you can remember, we are still inside of my higher time frame dealing range. I saw price trade below the 50% of the range. So I'm telling myself, okay, this is the sell side liquidity that I would like price to hit in the morning period. So I marked off my 15-minute fair value gaps above price. The price was trading in this candle at 9:15. So I marked off my higher time frame 15-minute fair value gap. So what I was thinking, I wanted price to open, go high, and rally down into first this 4-hour bullish fair value gap and see if it had if it was weak enough to get to this sell side liquidity, which is a higher time frame market maker sell model. So I was patiently waiting. We had news at 9:45. No red folder, but we still had some news. So at 9:30, the market actually traded lower and then began to displace higher. So because I was married to my bearish bias, and that's a point that I want to make. We should have a bias, yes, but don't marry the bias, right? Because things change. So even though price traded lower, and in hindsight, we could see that this was accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. And that was the trade for the morning period. But because I wanted lower prices, I was waiting for it to get up into the 15-minute fair value gap. So when it got up into the 15-minute fair value gap, I dropped to my 1-minute time frame, and I was waiting for a shift in market structure to take price lower. So 9:30, we actually dipped down, and because I wanted lower prices, I really wasn't paying attention to the, even on a lower time frame, manipulation, accumulation, and distribution. So when it ran up into this 15-minute bearish fair value gap, I was waiting for a shift in market structure to take price lower. So as customary, I marked off my first presented fair value gap, which was this fair value gap here. And what I wanted to see at this point in time, I wanted to see this bullish fair value gap get inversed. So remember, I told you every candle tells a story, and I was completely distracted this morning. Don't ever trade if you are not completely focused. Trading needs your undivided attention. So if you're distracted, I can't trade with that. So all during this morning's price action, I was distracted. And while I was awaiting price to inverse this first presented fair value gap, I wasn't paying attention. So ultimately, price displaced higher. It actually inversed a 5-minute bullish fair value gap. So when I saw this, I was already late. All right, so I waited for price to trade down into this 1-minute fair value gap here. And I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be a very big stop loss. So when a stop is that big, because if I had to take an entry as candle traded into it, I'll have had to put my stop below here or even below the first presented fair value gap. So I waited for a confirmation entry for price to actually trade above this candle here. So I took my first trade there, and yes, the stops were right below that candle. And I was aiming for this um, 4 hour bearish fair value gap, right? So we had the hour, so I'm thinking to myself, we could at least aim for the top half and walk away with a 1.5 risk to reward. But because I was distracted, I entered here, and once price took that high, because if I scrub across a bit, I'm looking at these highs here and saying, okay, these are relative equal highs on a 1 minute time frame. So once price broke above this high, keeping in mind I was late to the game, I entered late. My entry should have been down here, right? But because my bias was bearish, I was waiting and allowing for price to trade into this 15-minute fair value gap and trade lower. Price found support on the first presented fair value gap. Once I saw price trading once, twice, 3 times, and if we look, the bodies never closed below the consequent encroachment of this first presented. So that should have told me that shorts were not in play, longs were. But again, being distracted, I didn't see the move. So anyway, we can't cry over spilt milk, as you know the people say. So I entered here. As we broke above that high, I did move my stop to break even. And on this first entry, I got stopped out because price traded back into this 1 minute fair value gap. And I got stopped out for break even. I did take a re-entry to trade back up into the top of this fair value gap. So it wasn't the best risk to reward. So I wouldn't even call it a win, but all right, I made a profit. It was a very small profit. And when I took a third trade, when I saw price reaching up into this 4 hour bearish fair value gap and couldn't go through, I did take a short, truth be told. Probably it was a FOMO short, I just didn't want to miss out on the move. So I did take a short. I moved my stops quickly to break even. Well, I was a little way in profit, so I got stopped out in profit. All in all, in the day, I I happened to make at least 1 hour because I risked 1% on each trade. But it wasn't my best trading day. Again, I was distracted. Um, I really didn't follow my rules on this short here. I just wanted to trade. I wanted to be right because initially I was looking for shorts. So I'm there telling myself, this is the short. So guys, lessons to be learned here is one, don't trade when you are distracted. You need to be laser focused. Two, if you have a bias, don't marry the bias, right? You see what price and what the chart is giving you and you act accordingly, right? This was supposed to be my entry. This was the news candle here. This should have been my entry, right? And even if I entered here, which I did, I moved my stop to break even too quickly. Eventually, the trade did play out, but all this is in hindsight, right? So don't trade when you're distracted. Don't marry a bias. And if you don't take a trade for the day, that's okay. Some days we will trade, some days we won't trade. The charts will be here tomorrow. So that was my lesson for today. Don't FOMO, don't marry a bias, and don't trade when you are distracted. So let me just put on my executions. Let me just get to the 1 minute just to show you the trades on a 1 minute time frame. 1 second. Right, so this was my execution on a 1 minute time frame. This is the break even. Remember, I told you when price traded into this 1 minute fair value gap, I waited for confirmation entry. As the candle closed, I took my long. But when price traded above here and I saw some rejection wicks, I moved my stop loss to break even. So this was a break even trade. And when I saw price finding support in this 1 minute fair value gap, that's where I took my entry. And I wanted to ride it higher into the higher end of the fair value gap. Again, being distracted, I said, let me exit this trade because you need to be focused. And this was the FOMO entry. It ended up playing out, yes, but it was a very high resistance liquidity run. Price went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I did make small profits on these two trades here, which managed to net me a 1% gain, but it was not the perfect entry. Yeah, so this was the entry, and probably would have netted off 200 points or so. But it is what it is, right? We move on, we journal, and we see what worked well, what did not work well, and we come back to the charts in the morning. So I hope you guys found some insights into this trading recap. It is the reality of trading and what we will face on a daily basis. And till we talk again tomorrow, stay safe. Bye bye.